morning, everybody. It's Kathy Champion and with Random Acts of Crafting, and thank you so much for joining me today in my craft room. I thought today that I would bring you a project using these colored papers. What I have in mind is a note card holder. This will be tied together. It'll hold 6 note cards and 6 envelopes. It's a really cute little project. It would make a wonderful gift, Sunday school, your children's teachers, if you just had a friend or something that you wanted to give something simple to. Just so many ideas that you could do. It's also a great craft fair idea that if you wanted to make these and sell them at a craft fair, that would be a wonderful idea. The possibilities, again, is endless, as it is with anything that we craft. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with the construction of the little folio itself. I have made 6 of my little note cards, and these are going to be just blank little note cards, and I used my my little frilly circle punch to punch out these really cute little things, and then I put my sentiment in the middle of those, and I just stuck them on the card with a little dimensional tape. Very straightforward, very easy little note cards. And you can make these any way you like. If you have a punch and some pretty paper that you want to punch out some designs, that would work. Again, you could do this in so many different ways. And as I always say, when I bring you a project, it's not to show you that you need to make it exactly the way I do, but rather to make it yours. So I'm going to start out with this. This is a lightweight cardstock. I did try this box in a heavyweight. I tried it with the Not Your Mama's cardstock. That was much too heavy. You cannot get the bends and the folds with that cardstock because there are a lot of score lines. So we're going to go ahead and get started with this. And we're going to start out. We need a piece of this that's going to measure 9 3/8. I know y'all don't like the 3/8, but again, I'm going to show you how to make this very simple. So we're going to go ahead. I'll tell you what. Let's do it this way first. Let's cut the short piece first, which is 6 1/4. That'll be the easy one. So there is 6 1/4. So we're going to cut this off. I'm going to lay this over in my scrap basket. And then we're going to put this one in, and we need this to be the 9 3/8. So let me pull this up where you can see, and I'll try to zoom in on this, but there's your 9. 1, 2, 3. 1 before your quarter is 3/8. Because remember in my measurement video, I told you that 4/8 is a quarter. So we're going to just take that piece off. This is our piece that we're going to do our scoring on. That's actually going to make our little box. And this is going to seem complicated, but it really isn't, because let me show you what I did. I have a piece here that I'm calling my template, and this is identical to this piece. You can see the different score lines here, and I traced my cut lines where we are going to need to cut this. And I didn't put one right here, but this is going to be cut as well. That's going to be cut away, just like down here. This entire piece and this little piece is going to be cut away. This is going to be cut away. So you will see very quickly how this comes together. Now I am going to use my Teflon bone folder to score this, because I find that with this, my paper doesn't split as bad as it does. Now, okay, so now we're going to score, and we do have quite a few score lines here to do, so I'm going to go slow. We're going to score at 1/4 or 1/4. We are going to score at 1. We're going to score at 4 3/4. We're going to score at 5 1/2. and we're going to score at 5 3/4. Then we're going to turn our paper. Our 1/4 inch score line should be across the top, and then we're going to score at 1 3/4, but we're only going to score down to this last score line. So 1 3/4, just down to that score line, and then we are going to score at 2 1/2 all the way down. Then we're going to turn it back to the 1/4 inch score line to the all the way to the left, and we're going to go back to that where we did the 5 1/2 and 5 3/4. We're going to now do 5 5/8. It's right in the middle, and we're only going to go down to that first score line, like so. Okay, we're done with our scoring. So now we're ready to do some cutting away. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to get rid of this whole section right here. So I am going to use my longer shears, and you want to cut directly onto the score line. So I am going to actually fold that up just to make it a little easier to see that score line and to get right into it. And we're going to cut up just to that next score line that takes this whole piece right here out. So again, I'm going to bend that back just a hair, just to give myself a nice guideline. And we're just going to cut this out. Now, if you don't get this completely square, you can always go back and fix that. But now I am looking at my piece here, and we just took this piece out. So now we're going to turn it this way, and we're going to take this piece out. So we're going to take this and this. So let me exit for you. This and this, all the way over to here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and bend these. I think if you you can burnish all your sides first, if this is what works for you. Keep in mind that when you are forming this box, it's going to form up on this side, so we will be bending everything in that direction. You want this section, which will be, that's why you got the 3 score lines here. This is going to wrap around, but we'll get to that in just a minute. Let's go ahead and take out this piece right here. So let's just snip, going right into that score line. And we're going to bend that up. Try your best to keep this as square as you can, because that will make a much neater looking box when you assemble this and put it together. See, I look like I didn't clean that score line up as good as I wanted, but that's okay, because we can always come back and just trim a little bit more away to make sure we're getting that score line cut out. Like so. So now what we need to do is, alright, so we got this piece and this piece. There's our template. We've gotten those pieces taken out. So now we need to concentrate on this little piece right here. Now this part is going to go away. So what we're going to do is we're just going to cut up, all the way up to that score line that's showing right here where it intersects. So let's just take up to there and bend this back, and then we're just going to snip off that little tag right there that we put the X on. And it might work better if you get a smaller pair of snips for these little pieces, because they can be a bit fussy. So we are going to clip this off, just like so. And now this is going to be a tab that's going to fold in. So we're going to do our regular little wedge thing here, and we're just going to wedge it out, taking out a little bit of that bulk so that when we fold it in, it'll be a nice, neat little closure, like so. Now, let's do this in. I'm going to go ahead and varnish these little folds. I'm going to get this over and varnish it, and this one, because this little pocket right here is what's going to hold our note cards. So now let's go over on this side, which is the opposite side of this, and we have another one of these little, we're going to do the same thing here that we did over there. We're going to cut directly up and up, and we are going to take our snips and we're going to snip this little piece off, spin that up so we can get a hold of it, and then we're going to wedge this piece out. And wedging, you're just going to come in from one corner to the other and just cut a tiny little wedge out of it, just to take out that bulk, so when you bend it in, it will fit much better in there, like so. So now these pieces are all, let's see, this piece right here needs to go in. Let's go ahead and varnish that down. And get that down. And bend that up. Get a good varnish on this. And this is actually going to sit into that little piece right there. See how that's going to sit right in there? We're going to put some glue on that and glue that in, and then this is going to come over like so, and this is what's going to form our little pocket right here that's going to hold these note cards, like so. Isn't that cute? Okay, let me get some of my scraps and trash out of the way. I don't like a messy work surface. I usually try to move my trash as I go. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to fold these in, and I'm going to just use a little piece of, a little smidgen of art glitter glue right here and here. And I am going to bend this up. I'm trying to hold this in frame so y'all can see what I'm doing, but you want to make sure you get that squared up so you have a nice little edge right there. And we're going to do the same thing on this side. I'm just going to bring that over and push that in, making sure that I have a nice fold right here, nice and flat. And once you get that adhered, you might, or down, you might want to lay this down like so, and just rub that bone folder in there to make sure that glue does get down in there and settle there, like so. Now, we did not crease this, so since it's going to be hard to do it in, maybe we can. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and varnish this as well. And also the first one, the second one. What this is going to give you is like almost like a little rolled edge to wrap around your little folio. Okay, before we go any further, I am going to use some sticky tape on this. And I have some 1/4 inch sticky tape, which will be the perfect dimension for that. So what I am going to do is I'm going to try to fold this back just a hair, trying to get some of the area out of my way to make it easier to get my sticky tape on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run that piece of sticky tape all the way down. And I've seen some people use the red tape. I don't like the red tape as much as I do this tear tape. I find the tear tape just to work so much better. Oops, it looks like my adhesive did try to pull off at the end there. So we're just going to cut that so we have a nice even piece. Now let's see, we are going to get this in here, and I'm trying to turn this and make sure that I stay in camera frame as well so that you can see what I'm doing, and that is crucial to see how I'm constructing this. Now you could use your art glitter glue here, but I want this to adhere the minute that I set it on top of it. And I don't want any of that tape hanging over. I just want it to go to here. So I think that's going to work really well. I'm just going to use my fingernail and just kind of put that tape down so to make sure that it is adhering well. I am going to use my snips and cut it off right here so that we don't have that hangover of tape. And that worked really good. I love these little Teflon scissors for cutting little stickies like that, because it does come off of your scissors without having to sit there and fiddle with them. And we're going to need to do the same thing right here. So let's just come in and cut that off just like so. And you can see how easy that pulled off of those scissors. So now I'm just going to come in and bend that down really good again, and I am going to pull the backing off of the sticky tape. And I'm going to go ahead and pull it off of both sides, because when I set this down I want to make sure that I've got it as even as I possibly can. And I'm going to do this side first, and I want to make sure it's right on that score line. Just right on that score line. Now I've got that side down, and I'm going to take my bone folder and I'm just going to press it just like so, just to make sure that I'm getting that in there just where I want it. And this one I want it to come right to the edge, so I'm going to do the same thing, getting it to the edge, and then I'm going to press down, and that will adhere. And now we've got our cute little pocket that's going to hold our note cards and our envelopes, and then we have this very cute little folio, and we're going to decorate this. We're going to put a tie of ribbon around it, and I'll be right back because I'm going to go ahead and get some, I think for matting it, I did cut this piece that I want to go all the way around. And I think this is going to be beautiful in this blue. And what I want it to do is wrap all the way around just like so. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually use my older bone folder to get a curve in this. And all I'm doing is breaking down the fibers of the paper a little bit on both sides. And see how that makes that curve? And this is going to help this to wrap around here like so. And then we have to decide how we want to adhere this down. So I think for me I'm going to use the art glitter glue because I want a little bit of wiggle room when I put this down. And I'm probably going to start it, actually I think I'm going to start it on the front because I want to make sure I have that nice edging for the mat. I want just a little bit of that darker blue to peek out around the edges, but I also want to make sure that it's even like that. So we are going to proceed to glue this down. What I'm going to do is, since I've got it in place, I'm going to hold this up and I'm going to run some glue just like so. Now this art glitter glue is going to spread out when we mash this down, and that's exactly what I want it to do. I just want it to come out to the edges, because once I get this in place here, the rest of it will be very easy and in just following through on our score lines and our guidelines. Now, I did cut this a scant bigger than I needed, and the reason for that, when I get over here, I can trim this off where I need it. So I'd rather have a little too much and be able to trim off a scant amount than to have it too short. So, and that's just me. Some people might say, if I was laying this down flat, I would not do that. But since I'm getting this curvature in it, I know that I could have some issues with the size of it. So let's go ahead and come back into here, and we are going to put some more art glitter glue just all up in this area. And now I'm going to adhere it to this part. And see, I do have a bit of a little bit of a hangover, but that's okay. It does look like it's trying to work up, so we're going to try to work it back down. And I don't know if you've noticed this, but it seems like a lot of time paper has a mind of its own. You will try to train it to go one way, and it will, because look how it started going up. And the more I go over, the more the paper wants to work itself up. But we are going to do the best we can to try to get that to go this way. And that's okay. You know what I'm going to do to make it, because it can be an optical illusion, I'm going to take a little tiny piece off of here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to gradually come to the edge the more that I cut, so that it will seem seamless. See how it's getting smaller and smaller? And that's exactly what I want this to do, because I don't want to give the illusion, or I don't want it to look like I cut the paper. See? That worked for me, and it still gives me my little edge down here. And now I am going to draw myself a line right here. And I am going to cut just on the left side of that line. And these long scissors are perfect for that, because you can open them up wide and just cut straight down. And that should give us our little bit of a border. And it does. So now all we need to do is come back in on this side. I'm going to put a little bit more glue right here on the spine. And we are going to glue this down. Okay. Now, glue did ooze out of here, but you know what? I am not going to worry about that, because this art glitter glue does dry clear, and I don't think it's going to matter once everything is said and done, because we're still going to embellish this. And we're going to put a pretty piece of ribbon on here too that's going to hold this together. Isn't that cute? I am loving the way this is coming together so far. Hey everybody, it's Kathy Champion, and I'm back with the conclusion of our little box that holds our little note cards. I have not made the envelopes yet, but I will do that. What I wanted to bring you today is I wanted to show you how I'm going to dress up the front of this and how we're going to put the ribbon that will tie. So what we want to do before we dress up the front is we want to take about, I would say, let's see, we want about And what you can do is just wrap your ribbon around it and see about how much you want to tie. I think I want a little bit more than that. So that looks good right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a pair of my scissors that I reserve for my ribbon. Usually your paper scissors are not your best bet for cutting your ribbon and things like that. So if I'm cutting a piece of cloth or ribbon, I want to say I have them up in here now, I can't find them. I should have took them out prior to starting filming. Oh, here they are. These are a really nice little pair of scissors that I use for my ribbon. So I just go up and cut that to the length I need it, and hide these back away so I won't be able to find them next time either. Do you ever feel like you do that in your craft room? Especially if you have a little tool caddy like I have. Sometimes it makes it a little difficult. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I am going to put down a piece of sticky tape right here in the middle. And I am going to use this thinner one. I think this is probably just a little bit more than a quarter. It's a little bit wider than a quarter, but this is going to hold this rather good. And I'm going to open this up because I want to make sure I stick that tape down. In fact, I am going to snip. I want this to be even underneath that ribbon, so I'm going to snip a piece off and get me an even edge, because you know with this tear tape, a lot of times when we tear it, we don't have an even edge. But now I am going to cut a piece about yay big. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to just kind of center it up in the middle. It does not have to be perfect, but you do want it as straight as you can, because you're going to run that ribbon into that tape to hold it in place. Now I'm going to do the same thing on the back. I'm going to put a piece of sticky tape so that it will hold that ribbon that wraps around the back of it in place. Now I said I'm going to do that if I can find my... There we go. I actually cut it into a little indentation, and it was hard to find the end of it. Okay, we're going to cut another piece about that long. And we're going to adhere it down right about there. Now I'm just using my fingernail to kind of put that down, because normally I would run my bone folder over it, but because of the shape of this, it's going to be hard to do that. Alright, so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to release my tape. I'm going to center up my ribbon, because I want to make sure my two ends are together. And then I'm going to hold it like this, and I'm going to lay that, I'm going to bring it over to the edge where I want it, and then I'm going to lay this down right into that sticky tape. Just like that. Now we're going to have a little bit more. I can see what I did. We're going to have a little bit more in the back. Oh, let's lift that up. I need more this way. And again, like I said, you can eyeball this, but this is, I want it to be even, so there we go. So now we're just going to stick that down again. Now we're going to put something over top of this, so we will have more adhesive on top of this. So this is not the only thing that's going to hold it. Now we're going to come around to the back, and we're going to take the sticky tape, the backing off of the sticky tape back here, and we are going to run this around and into that sticky tape, just like that. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and decorate the front. Now I cut this out of this paper pack, and this was the Prima Georgia Blue paper, and this is the paper that I used. There's the little floral there. And so I wanted to use something out of this. This is just beautiful, beautiful paper. I love the blues in this. I just think they're so pretty, so vintage, and Prima is known for that. Prima is very good with that sort of thing. So what I think I want is I want to use the bottom portion of this, but I want to cut this out and put it on top of it. So I'm going to get my paper trimmer out, and I am going to cut this down. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a portion off of the bottom, and I can use this for something else. This is not a waste. And then I'm going to cut this right about here, which should slice these right in half, and it did. And I think what I want to do is I want to put this down. Oh, that's pretty right by itself. Oh, I like that. You know, I may not put this over it, because let's see. I think I like it without that piece. And again, you know, this is crafting. A lot of times you think you want something one way, and then when you start putting it together, you think, oh no, I think this looks fine like this. And I do. I like this. So I am going to go ahead and put some art glitter glue on this, and I'm going to stick it down, and I might use that piece on the back. That would be perfect on the back to cover up where the tape's at and the ribbon goes through it. So I'm putting a good bit of art glitter glue on this because I want to make sure that I get enough on here to cover the ribbon. So I am going to center this on here, like so. And then we're going to turn it over. And this little piece right here, I think I'm going to put that down right there to help cover where that ribbon goes through. And it will also add an anchor for that ribbon. Now, like I said, I think these would make perfect gifts for a teacher, Sunday school teacher, a friend, if you know you go to a dinner party or something and you want to take the hostess a little thank you, this would be a great little gift for that. There's just so many ways that you can show your appreciation to people. You know, these would be cute if you did a Happy Mail swap or something like that. I think they're adorable. So now I don't have the envelopes made, like I said. I do need to work on those. But I'm going to stick the cards in here, and I'm going to tie this up, and I'm just going to show you what it's going to look like. And all I'm going to do for my envelopes is I'm going to use my envelope punch board, and I am going to make some little envelopes, 3.5 by 3.5, to fit these cards in. And that will be a done deal. And how cute is this? Make your little frilly bow. This ribbon right here works really well for making bows. It's very forgiving. It's cute. Bows tie real easy. Now, how cute is that? What a cute little gift to give someone. And I think it came together really cute. It didn't take a long time to make this, even though it looks like it. If you can get past the scoring, and this is the main piece that you need to see in order to make this. And this mechanism right here is what folds under. If I had it over, I have all of my notes and everything here. I'm going to see if I can take a picture of this and put it on my the instruction video. If I can. If I can't, if you do look at this video and it's not there, please email me, Kathy Champion 31155 at gmail.com, and I will be glad to mail this to you. What I do is I just take a picture of it with my phone, save it as a PDF, and then I have it ready for anyone that needs it. So anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this little tutorial. I am going to get busy and make my envelopes. As you can see, there's plenty of room back there to stick in the envelopes to go with the cards. So I'm going to get busy and make those, and we're going to call this a done deal and a done project. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you have a blessed day, and once again, happy crafting. God bless you, and tell someone you love them. It can mean so much. Give somebody a smile, even someone you don't know. Say hello. You never know what that person's going through and how much a word of kindness can mean. So, like I always say, treat others the way you would want to be treated. Show love and mercy and passion, and always be humble. I'm signing off now from my craft room, and happy crafting, everybody. I love you all so much. Bye-bye.